It's the question that is constantly on your entrepreneur mind. How can I bring more people into my audience? And more importantly, how do I convert them to buyers?
In part one of our marketing funnel series, we're talking about top of funnel strategies to help you gain visibility and convert cold leads into warm ones.
Being an online business owner is full of ups and downs. Some days you can't imagine going back to your 9 to 5, and other days you want to burn your whole business to the ground. We get it.
Welcome to Chaos to Conversions, a podcast of practical, no BS strategies to grow your online business. Each week, we're chatting about launching, copywriting, mindset, and more, so you can make sense of the chaos and do more of what works.
Join the conversation and let's grow together.
Welcome back to Chaos to Conversions. This is a series that we're going to be doing, our first series, so I hope you like it. And this is the first part in a 3-part series all about the marketing funnel. And the marketing funnel is really important. I don't think it's something that we actively think about all the time. I know I struggle to always make sure I hit the different parts of the marketing funnel. And I think a lot of us tend to get hyper-focused in one phase or another. Maybe we're like really good at bringing people into our audience or really good about nurturing people that are on our list, but we may not always remember to hit every aspect of that funnel, which is super important. So over this series, we're not only going to talk about what the marketing funnel is, but what you can actually do to grow your business and use different strategies in different parts of that funnel.
Since this is the very first episode of the series, we thought we'd start out by doing kind of like an overview of what the marketing funnel is. And if we were in real life right now, I would whip out a whiteboard and actually draw us a funnel and section it into 3 different parts. But since we're not in person, we'll just have to use our imaginations. And I'm sure you've seen a graphic like this before anyway, but marketing funnels, like it's called a funnel because it's really kind of shaped like a funnel with a wide part at the top. And then it gets, skinnier because you're realistically not going to convert everyone to a buyer. So the top of the funnel is where people come into your world and become aware of your business, your brand, and they start to join your audience. Now, we're going to talk about this part more today, the top of the funnel, but there's really, honestly, the top of the funnel could also be broken down into like several sort of smaller pieces. But in general, the top of the funnel is where people are made aware of your business and find out that you exist. Then we'll move into the middle of the funnel. So this is where people are already aware of your business. They know that you exist. They're learning to find out what it is that you do. And they begin to consider if your services, offer, product, resources, whatever you're selling is the solution to the issue or the problem that they're experiencing. So this is where they are, in summary, deciding if they want to buy from you or not. Then we reach the very bottom of the funnel, which is where we have done what we've come here to do and converted someone into a paying customer. So someone who was at first not aware of your business and maybe didn't even know that you existed. And now they are a customer of yours. But it's really important, and we'll talk more about this in the last part of the series, but it's important to provide them with a great experience so they're not just a one and done customer and you can hopefully have a life or at least business long fan. So in this episode, we are going to mainly talk about top of the funnel, what it is and how to use it and improve it in your business. And then through the next 2 parts, we'll be diving more into the middle and the bottom.
Like Melanie said, we're going to be focusing on the top of funnel in this specific episode. At this stage in the top of funnel, people are becoming aware of you. This is their first time being introduced to what you do, who you are. And so at this stage, when you're working on top of funnel strategies, you want to be thinking about how you can make someone aware of your business and your brand. The focus is really building that audience and generating leads. We'll talk more in a second about how to actually like nurture those people and what strategies to use. But most commonly, we're thinking about things like bringing a new subscriber into our email list, right? Or bringing a new person onto our Instagram page. And these people may not become invested customers right away, right? They may not even move to the bottom of the funnel. But again, it's awareness. And that's also why visibility is really important, because sometimes it takes showing up several times for someone to really get to know us and who we are. You may have experienced times before, like you signed up for a freebie from someone, or I did this recently. I signed up for like a bundle and I downloaded a bunch of different free lead magnets. And now I have people in my inbox that I really don't know who they are. And so it's going to take several times of them like popping up in my life for me to go, oh, that's so and so, and they do this. So that's really what you're working on in this phase.
To think a little bit more about the nuances that we talked about a little bit in the introduction at the top of the funnel, you might also have some people who, of course, are problem aware, like they are actively looking for a freebie, for example, on how to improve their landing page. So some people might know, like set out and search into, Google or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, like ways to improve your landing page. And you might come up there. Or it's possible that you also have people kind of stumbling around on the internet who don't necessarily even know that their landing page, going with that example, needs to be improved. So, this is where it's really important in the top of funnel when you're creating your content to have different types of content, because you will have some people who know exactly what they're looking for and are actively looking for your solution. But you might have other people who are having a problem, but they're not even sure what it is they're looking for. They don't know what they don't know. So they're unaware, they're problem unaware. They don't know that they have a specific problem to solve. So you're going to have to first, with your content there at the top of the funnel, educate them a little bit and kind of uncover their problem.
Adding on to what Melanie said, we're moving more into like how to nurture some people. And she gave some good examples there about producing educational content for people who might be problem unaware. But there's also some other things that you can do to bring people into your, audience, into your sphere and help them get to know you. One of the really important ones is actually nurturing people come into your audience and making sure that you have a really good, clear idea of who you want in your audience. So I know a lot of us probably did like ICA work whenever we first started our business, like who's our ideal audience? And those are great exercises to do, especially when you first start your business, but likely you're a year or two into business at this point, and hopefully you have a better idea of who that person is based on the people who've come into your audience at this point, right? People who are on your list, people you've attracted or worked with before who have bought from you. So it's really important to analyze those people who have purchased from you. What do they have in common? Because it might have shifted and changed from that original ICA that you created in your mind of this like fictional person. Who are the real people sitting in your audience currently? Also, your business might have changed over time and you might want to attract different people. So make sure you have a really clear idea of who those people are. And then you can also send out market research surveys, which we talk about in episode 4, kind of diving into like what market research is. But this is a great way to get to know your existing audience. So again, you can attract more people like that, especially if you want to continue working with those type of people. And then the important part, of course, is once you have a really clear idea of your target audience, that you're using really clear messaging, content, copy that speaks to those people. For instance, a lot of my clients are teacher business owners or former teachers who have become business owners. And so when I'm talking a lot in my copy on my website, you'll see me say I worked with teachers turned business owners. And a lot of the content that I put online, I'm talking about TPT. I mentioned that in different workshops. I'm constantly calling out people who I know have worked with me and who I enjoy working with and letting them know I'm your person if you're in that space.
Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about what the top of the funnel is and how to nurture people at the top of your funnel and making sure that you're getting the right people into your audience, let's also talk about some concrete steps that you can take to make sure that you are attracting the right people at the top of your marketing funnel. Making sure that we're posting engaging content that your ideal audience and your ideal people can relate to and resonate with. I mentioned this at the beginning too, but make sure that you're also posting content that is informative and educational in case they're problem unaware, making sure that we're introducing ourselves, what we do, what we sell, because this is actually, I'm going to go on a small unplanned tangent, Branda, but one of the things that I've actually been having multiple clients say to me, like literally just in the last 2 weeks, is that they are really like hesitating to sell anything. Like I have one client that I just started working with not that long ago. We were doing like an audit of her business. And I was like, where are your sales emails? And she's like, yeah, I've never actually like written an email offering anything. To which I was like, well, that could explain why it is you are not making money because people don't know, you know what I mean? That you have something to offer unless you tell them. So I get that it's a really like fine line between posting content that makes you feel like gross and salesy. But if people don't even know that you're selling anything and they think you're just a nice informative account, then you've got yourself a hobby and not a business. Anyway, I digress. But making sure that you're actually making people aware that you offer something and what it is that you offer. The other thing that can be really helpful to kind of cast that wider net at the top of the funnel is getting yourself in front of new audiences. And I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I think Branda and I have dabbled in all of these things that I'm about to rattle off. And these are just some ideas. It's not like the end all be all, but collaborations, you've seen this a lot in the online space where you're participating in a bundle, maybe where you're contributing a resource or a freebie or something, and you're participating with other people who are also advertising it to their list. So hopefully you're getting new eyes on your offers and your content. There's, of course, like guest speaking with summits or podcast guesting, for examples, but any you're providing information and upping your, credibility and showing what you know in front of new audiences can be really helpful. Promoting a freebie. So this can sometimes be for your own audience, right? Who you already have kind of in front of you, but actually getting them to look at the free content you have and subscribe. Reels personally have been really helpful for me on Instagram as of lately, getting just people who aren't currently following me to at least see my content, which is converted into some followers, right? So then they'll consistently see things that I am posting. And then, of course, there's also paid ads, which I don't think either Branda and I have dabbled in like personally extensively, but one of my clients has been running paid ads now since April, and she has tripled the size of her email list this year with paid ads. So not saying all of those people are buying, but some are. And we have things like, tripwires set up and funnels immediately after they opt in to kind of tempt them and also like offset the ad cost. So that's another thing that you can consider to get more people into the top of your funnel.
Yeah, I tried the paid ads things. Didn't really go too
Did
well
you?
for
I
me.
couldn't remember. I think I've spent $10 in 4 years on paid ads.
I really tried. I really did, but it didn't quite work.
Maybe next time.
Some other things that you can do, and this one is probably my personal favorite, and someone who does a lot of email marketing, is welcome sequences. That is like one of the best ways to make sure that someone can get to know who you are, introduce your offers and your services and your products to them, and build a really solid relationship. I often think our subject lines are the key to our open rates and getting people to buy from us, but the welcome sequences really are the key. Sure, a great subject line can have someone open your email, but typically it's because you know the person. That's why you're opening it up. Another thing to think about is just making sure that you are including lots of calls to action to dig deeper, to follow you, to check out, your podcast, your YouTube. You really want to give people calls to action to continue to figure out who you are, to delve more into your business. Another way that you can work on top of funnel is encouraging people to interact with you. People are more likely to move towards a warmer audience when they have some sort of relationship or trust built with you. So that might look like including polls inside of your Instagram stories. And then interacting with people who reply to those polls, encouraging people to reach out to you in the DMs, having people reply to your emails, people leaving comments on your YouTube videos and you replying to them. It can look so many different ways, but one of the best things that I have found in my business is the more that I build relationships, the stronger my business is. And then, of course, having a website. I think most of us probably have websites. I think very occasionally do I come across someone these days who doesn't have one, but that's one of the best ways that someone can learn more about you and what you do. So making sure that you're including your services on there, about information on there, your background, where they can learn more about you too. Like, again, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever you have going on, where they can dive more into your business and get familiar with you. And probably the last thing that I would recommend doing to kind of reach new places, this kind of goes in getting in front of new audiences, is using SEO, whether that be for your website, writing blogs, SEO can also apply to pretty much every social media platform these days because SEO is just everywhere. Fun for us. So, using SEO, though, is going to help you get found by more people. I think sometimes it's a little bit harder to build new audiences with SEO, especially if like people are just reading like one-off blog. But it still happens. I hear from people all the time who say that they have really popular blogs that lead to sales for them, that lead to clients for them. So it's not impossible by any means, but I think that's kind of a more long-term game that you can have something running in the background and possibly helping you reach new people.
To recap, at the top of the funnel, your focus is primarily on bringing in new people to your audience. You can do this by posting introductory content, getting in front of new audiences, sharing your opt-ins, and so much more. So let's end this episode with a couple of action steps you can take based on some things you're probably already doing.
Start by asking yourself what opportunities you can take to get in front of new audiences, like guesting on podcasts or making reels. Reflect on what type of social media content does really well for you, and then make more of that. Check in on your landing pages and your opt-in conversions to make sure when people are coming across you that they are converting again to your email list or whatever that might be. Look at page views of your websites and landing pages. That kind of goes along with those conversions. But again, make sure that when someone comes onto your website or lands on your page, that they are taking some action on that. Reflect on your social media engagement and your reach to see if you can make any sort of adjustments there to reach your ideal people. And then lastly, make sure you have some solid strategies in place to warm people up to you, whether that be having welcome sequences, creating interactive content, and more so you can build those relationships and move them to the middle of the funnel, which is what we'll be talking about in the next part of the series. And my shameless plug at the end, because, hey, maybe you're at the top of my funnel and I'm going to warm you up. I do welcome sequences for people. So if you need help creating a welcome sequence so that you can help your new subscribers get to know you, warm them up to your offers, make some sales, reach out. You can find information in the show notes about my welcome sequence packages. You can also head to my website or send me a DM on Instagram and we can chat about your project. Thanks so much for joining our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode, please head to your listing app and leave a quick rating and review.
If you're on Instagram, share this episode and tag us at Duxbury Digital and at The Relevant Collective. We'd love to hear from you. We'll meet you back here next Tuesday for more practical strategies to take your business from chaos to conversions.